If you want to make money self-publishing, you need to know what already works because if you're just guessing, that's basically like playing the lottery. Sure, every now and then someone gets lucky, they publish a book and it takes off. But for most people, random guessing leads to books that never gain traction and never generate any meaningful income. So the real question here is this. Would you rather take a gamble on an idea and just hope that it works, or would you rather use actual data to identify topics that already have demand? Personally, I've earned over six figures from self-publishing part-time, and one of the biggest reasons is because I stopped guessing and started researching. So I also run a self-publishing community on Skool with more than 1,000 authors, creators, and entrepreneurs who are all working toward publishing and growing their income through books. If you'd like to join us, you'll find the link down below in the description. But for now, let's talk about how to actually find opportunities before you spend weeks or months creating a book. One of the tools that I've been using for years is called Publisher Rocket. So if you've followed my content for any amount of time, you've probably heard me mention it before because it's literally the first step in my process for publishing. So before I write or create an outline, and before I even spend $1 on coming up with a cover design, I do my research. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's pretend for a minute that you're a relationship coach and you want to create a book for men who are struggling with dating. And a lot of people would immediately just jump right into the writing process. But instead, I would open up Publisher Rocket and go straight into the keyword research section. Then I type in something like dating for men. Publisher Rocket will then return a list of related keyword phrases that people are actually searching for on Amazon. And as you start expanding those keywords, you'll find some really interesting data points. For example, let's say that you discover the keyword phrase, dating books for men. Publisher Rocket shows that this keyword gets over 1,000 searches per month on Amazon. That is a huge clue. Why? Because it tells us that there are over 1,000 people every single month actively looking for books on this topic. They're not casually browsing. They're typing those words into Amazon because they want a solution. And that is proof of demand. And if the competition score comes back as medium, that is even better. So now we know that there's buyer interest without the niche being completely impossible to compete in. But this is where most people stop, but I like to go deeper. So inside of Publisher Rocket, you can click onto the books that are ranking for that keyword. And now you can start analyzing the market. You can see the titles, the estimated monthly earnings of each book, and you can also see the review counts. And this is where things get really interesting because what you're going to find is that the books with thousands of reviews, well, those are usually books that are backed by major publishers, have large audiences, and a significant marketing budget. And I don't spend time worrying much about those. So instead, what I'm looking for here is books with 500 reviews or less, because when I see a book with relatively lower reviews and it's making good money every month, that to me is a signal. It tells me that there may be room for another high quality book in that space. It tells me that the niche isn't completely saturated, and it tells me that there are readers actively buying that topic, and that's exactly the type of opportunity that I'm looking for. So now if your wheels are already turning and you're thinking, okay, I need this tool, you're probably right, especially if you're serious about publishing more than one book, because this just isn't a tool that helps you with one project. It's something that you can use repeatedly for years to come. But let's take a look at another way that I use Publisher Rocket. Let's say you've already found a book on Amazon and you're curious how it's performing. So what I did was I stumbled across a book called Date Smarter, A Strategic Guide to Navigating Modern Romance. And I noticed that it had around 50 reviews, so really that immediately caught my attention. So what do you do next? right? So you take that title, and I just copied and pasted it directly into Publisher Rocket, and then boom, Publisher Rocket starts pulling the data. Now you can see the estimated earnings, you can see the keyword rankings, and you can even dig into the category placements. So that way you can start to understand whether that book is actually successful or it just looks like it could be successful. So then you can discover that this book is actually generating well over $1,000 per month. And to me, that's valuable information because now I know that this is a relatively new book with a relatively small number of reviews, and it's actually producing real income. And that's exactly the kind of insight that can help shape your own publishing strategy. But it does get even better because you can also look at the categories that that book is ranking in, and you can see how it's positioned. So that way it can help you identify potential categories for your own book. And you can begin to build a strategy based on what's already working instead of hoping that something will work. And that is the difference between research versus guessing, data versus assumptions. And honestly, I know what some people are thinking right now. I'll probably buy Publisher Rocket after I make money first with my book. I hear that one all the time. But that's a little backwards, actually, because the research is what helps increase your odds of making money in the first place. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint and then deciding you'll get the blueprint after the house is finished. Okay, that's not a smart strategy. The research has to come in first and the writing comes in second. So if you're serious about self-publishing and you want to make more informed decisions, I'm going to put my link to Publisher Rocket down below. That is my affiliate link, so the details will be there. And it's currently available as a one-time purchase, which is one of the reasons why I like it so much, because it's not another monthly subscription or reoccurring fee. It is just a tool that you can continue to use over and over again. And if you're not quite ready to invest yet, I'm going to also encourage you to make sure that you're checking out my community. Again, I'll drop that link in the description below because I help a lot of new authors learn how to evaluate opportunities, validate ideas, and avoid some of the common mistakes that keep books from gaining traction. So thank you so much for watching this video today. If you found it helpful, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button for more self-publishing content, and I will see you in the next video.